Hi everyone, and welcome to the best of Goldfields, our very first brand new podcast created right here in the Center for Entrepreneurship at Goldfields TVET College. This particular podcast will be focusing mainly on students, their challenges, their successes. It will be focusing on the community, SMMEs, entrepreneurs, their challenges, their success stories. Will be helping people here uplift their lives, their businesses, but we'll also be casting the net wider to talk to community members. If you can get the mayor, that will be a bonus. If you can get the directors in the municipalities, if you can get the Department of Agriculture, that will be a bonus for us. But we'll try our very best to get everyone here at our podcast. My name is Bongan Makasi. I am responsible for business development right here in the center here. Our guest today, he's a former national debater. He's a former secretary of the SRC. He is a former coach of the ladies soccer club here in the college Dosa campus. He is currently the president of the SRC, Mr. Itumeleng Direko. Mr. Direko, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makasi, for having me in today's session. I feel very honored to be part of the project, which is well and it's good for the best of the society at large, not just students, but the fact that we've mentioned the different platforms of our society, mainly just to grow and bring the bigger picture of the different perspective for that one we're having. It's an honor for me to be here today.
No. We feel honored. We feel honored ourselves to have the president, the first student, if one wishes to say so. Mr. Direko, there are a number of issues I want to talk to you about. But the first thing is first. Who are you?
Okay. My name is Itumeleng Direko. I'm the SRC president of Goldfields TVET College. I'm an N5 mechanical engineering student. I'm a very humble and calm person. Coming from Itumeleng, Paris, a small town in the Free State.
Paris?
Coming from
Paris.
Paris.
You know what they say about guys from Paris, man.
Well, yeah, I would not feel to touch that one yet, but yes, I come from a very small town in Itumeleng, Paris, in the Free State. And mine coming here is just like any other normal students to come and better my future, to be sharpened and given and acquire skill to become a better person in the society at large.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, Itu, I call you Charlie. Yes. You know Charlie. Charlie, tell me, your upbringing, man. How was it in Paris growing up, and how did you end up here in Velcom?
Okay. My upbringing in Itumeleng, Paris, just like any other normal kid, I grew up in disadvantaged circumstances because, for one,
you're also claiming to be poor. When people are at this level, they all say, "Hey, I was poor." I've never seen a successful person ever saying, I'm a cheese boy. I've never heard anyone. Everyone who's successful, they always say, I was born poor. I didn't have anything to eat. I was sleeping on the floor. Is that your story as well?
Well, I do not want to use term poor. That is why I'm saying disadvantaged. But like any other student, was brought up by two parents, of which one, my father was and still is a soldier, of which you could always have a bread to eat before you go to bed. And my mom, like any other mother in childhood we had, was a domestic worker and worked very successfully to make sure that I end up being here in Goldfields TVET College, of which having to mention the name Charlie, it is the name that I got from the institution. Having to go to Paris and call me Charlie, people would be surprised. Who is Charlie?
Because I always came to your parents' place, you remember?
Yeah.
They don't know Charlie there.
They don't know Charlie there because it is the name I got from the college, from Mr. Mayor, my fitting and training lecture.
Yeah,
I could not pronounce both my name and my surname and decided I'm going to call you Charlie.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. Now, since you grew up from a disadvantaged family, our show has sponsors, man. We have quite a number of sponsors. We have a sponsor here from, we're in the Center for Entrepreneurship, and I am the business development in this center. My job mainly is to work with so many SMMEs, entrepreneurs, to try and mentor, coach, train, support their business in whatever way. Access to markets, access to funding, and so forth and so forth. That is basically some of the things we do here. Now we have a lady here, Mebokang.
Okay.
She's brewing soft porridge. I think whenever, because you come from a disadvantage, you do know how this thing tastes.
Yeah.
So she's currently selling this thing. It's now called Waruna
Okay.
soft porridge. She's on the shelves at Roots.
Okay.
She's in all our cafeterias. We are currently negotiating with many other shops for shelf space for her, because this is basically one of the things that we do here. So I need you to take one and take a sip while you are chatting to me, so that you don't get thirsty. Yeah. How does it taste? How does it
No,
taste?
it's one and great one. Having to come from home, I would say home, because she's one of us now.
Yeah.
Taking whatever that we had growing up as kids and bringing out to the world, it's a great win for us, and
Yeah.
the taste is very great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Go
this
out.
is very nice. We're in the process of SABS approval and so forth. So this is very nice, and we've got to do great things with this particular product
Yeah, and
here.
also a great motivation to those who want to pursue different kinds of things, because I would say one would say it is limited because it's only what we are having at homes, only mainly in the morning. But having to bring it and introduce it to different communities is also a motivation to other people who are trying to introduce new things to the communities to come into the CFEs. They have the right direction that side to assist everyone, not just certain individuals because of a form of a friendship or what, but it's mainly open for everyone to come and bring their businesses so that they can be catered for and well mentored, like you mentioned.
Yeah. Now, since you're mentioning students and so forth, why second time around in the SRC? What is it that you couldn't do as the secretary of the SRC in your previous tenure that you want to do now? Why the second time around?
Well, for now, at first, to become the SRC Secretary General of Goldfields, it was a personal ambition to lead in the SRC, having to have the qualities of a leader, I want to say, because leadership isn't started here in Goldfields, but
Yeah.
coming from primary, having to be the group leaders, going to secondary, Barnard Moloko, and I became the RCL chairperson too. So it's quite a journey for me to become the Secretary General of the college. Now, I want to believe, according to the capabilities and abilities to assist students by then, it is only now student approached me to be part of the SRCs. This time around, to become the president of the SRC, it was not my personal ambition, but it was a request from student.
Okay.
Having to assist students without resources, a normal student in Goldfields throughout the registration, the process of applying for different bursaries. I assisted students according to my capabilities and my abilities until where I can. That's when students approached and said, if you're able to assist us without the resource, what more could you do when you become the SRC president with such resources? That's when I felt there was a sense of me that wanted to deny, having to understand there is a work pressure that comes from my academics. Now, students said, if you would do this for us, we would really appreciate it. Having to know you have served before, we know you can recognize you, and we can as well recognize your work. If you would please assist us at least for one last time this year so that there may be certain changes. According to your experience, we want to believe that you'll be able to do this and that and that and that.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, as a former SRC president myself, but from a big university, the Vista University, from a big university, I did it for the women, yeah, for the power, you know. I see when you're doing it for a different reason, you are approached by students to, to assist. Now, since you say you were also at RCL and so forth, the love of politics, where does it come from for you? What informs this, leadership thing every now and then that you keep on pursuing?
Well, I'm going to be crucified for this one, but having to grow up into Maule Paris, I would say Paris has always been a political platform for many people, and many people want to pursue politics mainly because we were influenced and groomed by the so-called Isma Hashule. Now, well, it comes from love of the role models that you see personally from our environment to then say, these men have acquired this and that has achieved this and that. Now, it instills the love of politics from within because from Paris, we still had the likes of COSAS that was very influential. We had the likes of ANC Youth League that would possess the sense of leadership within within learners from early age. From
Yeah.
the earliest age, you are introduced to politics in a
Yeah.
form of courses. You do not need to attend classes for politics, but the love comes from within, having to see people around you doing so well in politics. That's when I developed a sense of leadership and the love for these things. But for me, it comes from love. It comes from love, of which I want to say it was influenced at home, because having to be disadvantaged, but my parents would always assist those who did not have nothing at all. My mom would always reach out to assist people. I want to say now, the love comes from that, the love of assisting people. It is not mainly because of politics, but it's mainly giving those who are disadvantaged. Now, in my context, comes in a form of we're in a platform of students whereby we are affected by socio-economic factors. Most of the time, there's a student who sleeps without anything on the table, and we all know that our bursaries take time to deliver to us. The deliveries, the service delivery, they take
What do you intend to do? What do you intend to do about that?
well. Already we are fighting with the bursaries because of late submissions, and also our institution at some point had failed the students because we concluded our registration a bit late this trimester. That's when we are having our allowances late because we submitted late to the NSFAS offices. That's when the allowances are being delayed. But we cannot just sit back and say we submitted late, therefore we'll wait until NSFAS delivers to students. We are trying to outsource from every office. We are trying to get assistance from. We are challenging this issue of NSFAS, not only the NSFAS, but different. Uh,
Charlie, what is the plan? Let's talk honestly. What is the plan of the SRC? Look, you serve as the SRC. You serve in the finance committees. You serve in council. You serve in academic boards. And that is your platform for you to take these matters. Further. My question would be: last year, you were the secretary of the SRC. And I've never heard of an SRC calling a mass meeting to say, here's feedback from the council meeting, here's feedback from the academic board, here's feedback from the finance committee. You never had those mass meetings to give back. Is there going to be change? Are you going to be doing things differently now this year after you represent students there? Are you going to go back to students and say, look, this is the feedback we have. This is the status quo.
Mr. Makasi, remember the SRC is driven by the SRC president. Now, the different presidents would have different approach to solving the students' problems that we are facing in our institution. I was the Secretary General. The mandate of the SRC comes from the president of the SRC. I could not call the shots because there was someone else calling the shots. But however, ever since I became the president, having to fight for NSFAS, already we had about 2 mass meetings with the students, giving feedback to students. Because one thing that sets SRC for failure is less communication with the students. I'm trying by all means to communicate with students almost every day, to hear from the students on what they're struggling with.
Okay.
And immediately I get the feedback from the students, I immediately attend the relevant platforms, whereby the relevant committees, to sit in council meetings to discuss these things, to sit in academic committee to discuss issues of academics. Immediately after discussing these things on different committees, I give back to students through statement in social media, through physical meetup, because past 2 days, I met with students in different campuses of our institution to give feedback on issues of NSFAS and the 80% attendance policy that we are trying to fight. Every time there's an issue in our college, I engage students, take from them their mandate, go back to the executive management, discuss with them. A day after, come back to students and deliver and hear from the students if they are happy with what we have bargained with management, and give back the feedback from the students and take their inputs, because we are the SRC because of the students. We do not serve ourselves, but we serve the students. That is why after each and every engagement with the management, we need to go back to students and tell them about what we have been discussing with management, and here is how far the amendments are, the decisions, the agreements, how far are the students happy? If they are not happy, then you go back to the management, or we discuss this. Students are not happy with this. How about we amend this and then we give back to the students again?
Okay, while still on that point, the college has challenged certain challenges. Uh, Dropout rate is too high, right? Students are not completing their programs. Uh, Certification rate of the college is dropping. The throughput rate, our FTEs are low. What are you going to contribute as the SRC to assist to the college to achieve and pick up those numbers? What is it that you're going to do to assist, in terms of putting the college on the map?
Okay. Well, we are having two campuses. Mainly one deals with the business, and then the other one deals with the engineering. And we want to understand that the drop rate of certification comes from the engineering sector, of which now, number one, it is a challenge on its own because when we speak about the certification rate, we are speaking about the graduates from the N6, and we're having a challenge with N2. N2 on its own, it's a qualification, it's an exit. Therefore, students only come to acquire the N2 based on different apprentice, internship,
Yeah.
and learnerships. So, therefore, it is a challenge on its own because some companies would send their students just to do N2 and then come back. So that is why we're having a low certification rate in N6. Mind you, N6 is a diploma. Students in engineering do not come in for diploma because they can also acquire that from universities. So for us, they only come to acquire the N2. However, we also understand the frustrations that comes with pressure and shortage period of time when you deal with trimester. It's only 12 weeks, by the way. There are students that cannot cope with 12 weeks. However, we cannot say that it's short on its own. We're trying by all means. We have approached the offices of NYDA. NYDA, they are offering the tutors to the colleges and the secondaries. We have already approached them to come and assist our students to do well academically because we understand from the class they're giving a limited number of hours in classes with their lecturers. But we want to extend that through the process of NYDA to bring extra classes for students free of charge as the SRC because you understand students also have the frustrations of allowances, financials. So we want to do everything free for students. That is why we're trying to bring a helping hand to students through the offices of NYDA for them to bring us tutors to assist students to do well academically because we want to improve our certification rate also in engineering. In business sector, we're doing quite very well that side because we are only taking students from N4 up until N6. So we understand when we register students in N4, we are solemnly sure that they are going to achieve their diploma in N6. But with engineering, it's different because students come only for N2 for learnerships and internships. So it is a challenge to have students from N4 to up until N6.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's just say we are coming from the Siferi. I want to work hand in hand with the SRC because this center, the main idea is for students to become, when we're in a classroom situation, they are being lectured, they are being taught, they are being prepared to become job creators, not job seekers. And the center is here to assist students. Have you played any role in terms of recruiting on behalf of the center and encouraging your students, from the classroom situation or from the meeting situation to say, look, we encourage you to go and visit the Center for Entrepreneurships, in terms of assisting you with compliance and start building your business while you are still studying. Because when you wait for completion, it might be a bit too late for you. So are you going to be playing such a role as the SRC in terms of
Yes,
assisting the
yes,
center?
yes, Mr. Makas. We are playing a role already. We have spoke with Mr. Magwa, who is the placement officer in our college, to then say, Mr. Magwa, please talk to students not only about placement, but also to be business people. We would want to understand people from engineering, they are only trained to become workers of certain companies, but they are not trained to become the owners of the workshops. We're dealing with engineering. And South Africa should be one of the best producing in terms of engineering. Now we want to change the narrative of our students to become the workers. We want to change that for them to now start being employers. We are having a workshop whereby students are trained. Therefore, that skill, we want it to produce more than just a student working for somebody. But already we have submitted to the relevant offices to then say, let it be a must for every student that come in our institution, pass through the offices of CFE to get knowledge on how to become a businessman while an engineer. We do not only want our students to become workers, but we want them to own big workshops, not to narrow their minds to then say, I want to acquire this qualification so that I'm going to work there. But it has to change for them to say, when I leave this institution, I need to open a business that is engineering
But why,
related.
why, why, why why should I believe you, Charlie? Why should I believe you? Because you once came to me and you said, I have a company, I want to do one, two, three. Were you lying because you never came back?
No, I was not lying, Mr. Makasi. By then, I had less things to do in my plate. It was only academics and my company. So now I put my company on hold mainly because of students' needs at first. I already have a lot in my plate. Being the SRC president comes with a lot of pressure and responsibilities. And even at night, there was one student who called me around 2 a.m. in the morning. He had a case, and we had to deal with it. I had to assure the student, "Oh, I'm going to deal with your case as soon as early as I can, as early as I can when I arrive in campus." It was 2 a.m. So currently, I do not have time even for myself, for my company, to mention that. Uh, I deal with Lord on my plate, Mr. Makasi, and I'm
No, we
trying.
understand you are the president.
I'm trying to put students first.
Yeah.
That is why I'm saying we are advising our students to pass through the offices of CFE so that they become business minded, not only students to work somewhere. And of which you are going to see by actions, because it has to be approved first somewhere, then put it in place. We cannot just take students, put them in CFE office. We have to request from the offices of the CFE. Once it is approved from the college management, that's when we'll advise our students to come this side. And also, from the business side, we understand that is a BM day that is only placed for certain students. And we've also reached out to the deputy principal academic to then say, why can't it be for the entire institution? So that people could also be business minded, all of them. We do not know what life has in store for us. Things might change every day. So it must be a requirement for one to be a business person. Even if your business does not succeed, but at least have a little knowledge of business. That is why we're going to advise our students. We have CFE offices, come pass there and acquire knowledge about the businesses, how to be business minded, how to be business people.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of being groomed to be business people.
Yeah. Okay, Charlie, I know you are a guy who's very much involved in sports, even debate. You were a national debater at some point. But what I realize in our campuses here, students don't play. Students don't play. And I think you have a sports officer, you have a cultural officer, and so forth. Don't you think that that lack of those activities are some of the things that are contributing towards the retaining of students, especially that part? And would you encourage your officials within your SRC, to put much effort into getting students to play?
Okay. Mr. Makasi, I feel like I'm going to respond more on term. That is not my term. But currently, I'm having my term as the SRC president, and
Yeah.
already in plan. Past Friday, we were having SRC Sports Day, of which that was supposed to include all students from different campuses, management, working staff, because we want to create a relationship and a free platform for everyone who sets their foot in Goldfields TVET College. Some of these things we do not want to say they are only based for students, but we want to involve the lecturers, the working staff. Already on Friday, we had our SRC sports games, of which we are trying to bring the vibrancy in our campuses. We are trying to bring back the campus life in Goldfields TVET College, because it also helps in terms of mental wellness. Having to come to campus just to sit in class, be depressed, and then go home again to be depressed, not having anything to eat. We're trying to bring that vibrancy, promote healthy lifestyle, promote that campus life, so that students would feel they're in college that is catering and accommodating everyone, irrespective of where they come from. We want our college to be a space that is a hope for students holistically. We are not only speaking of academics, we're speaking of academics, we're speaking of socio-economic factors to be catered for, we're speaking of sport, because we do not know where life would put you in future, Mr. Makasi. If you are doing very well in soccer, we're trying to promote that and see you doing well in life, in sports, in everything. So already it is in plan, it is in the pipeline to introduce sports. Already we have introduced sports. Students sorry, students have participated in sport, and we got the feedback from students. How was the first try of SRC sport game? We got a positive response, of which we are trying to do it every Friday. We're going to have sports rotating from different campuses.
Yeah. Charlie, uh, we would want to work with, I don't know, did we invite the PRO of the SRC? We'd want to work with the PRO of the SRC in this project and many other projects in the Department of Marketing and so forth. Would you avail your people to come and learn, because this is part of learning and introducing them to all these devices and all these skillful people that you see around yourself. We're going to edit and make this thing very beautiful. So would you give us access to such people, and so that ensure that, because we need ambassador at the center of student population,
Okay.
like your PRO in the SRC, to yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
networking.
Yeah. Okay, to come in the first question of PRO, we're fortunate enough, we're having very energetic PRO who have been requesting for numbers of marketing and media department from our institution, of which he is available to work with the marketing department of the institution. Already we have met with Mr. Mabito, of which he is also available to assist in terms of resources, in terms of anything that is related to marketing, just to have that friendly platform between the CFE, the institution, and the SRC, so that we all come to one table and deal with all issues that we're supposed to deal with in terms of marketing and media. And also in our sports, yes, we are going to invite CFE, we are going to invite every stakeholder that's supposed to be there, so that we sit on one table, we plan ahead. We only had the internal ones just to check our capabilities to host such events, and our events became a success, of which we want to expand it and stretch it further to the community, not just our students. We want to invite community so that they get a different perspective of our institution. They can only see from outside and they only understand it's engineering that side. So we want to change the entire narrative to say to people of our society, this institution is accommodative to everyone. Everyone who wants access to Goldfields may come to partake in Goldfields, whether academically, in sports. We're trying to introduce also sports bursaries. We're trying to get sponsors. We're going to get funding for different platforms and also introduce a CFE for students. Just there are so many things that we've put in plan, and also to sit down with you guys and discuss everything holistically.
2023. What is the president's message? What is your advice to 2023 students in all of our campuses?
What I'm going to say to our students is that coming to Goldfields TVET College, we are saying that we welcome every student, and the college is safe and sound for everyone who wants to come here to get sharpened, to portray their skill, to acquire skill, to acquire knowledge, to become a better people in future. Goldfields is welcoming everyone, and what I would say to students is that life is challenging on its own. Why would you spend most of the time doing nothing other than coming to the institution and better your life, better your future, and acquire knowledge and skill to become a better person in life? Yes, Mr.
Charlie, I speak on behalf of the whole crew and I say good luck to you for 2023. Thank you for coming today. I think we learned a lot from the president of the SRC himself. Very insightful information that you gave us here today, and we thank you so much for making time. Just in conclusion, we just want to thank all our sponsors. Waruna, thank you so much for the beverage, tasty one. We want to see the sales going up. We're also expecting May Mohotu to bring Motswako. You know Motswako, Mos? Yeah. Motswako is coming on board as well for next week episode. I think Chili Bite also. Chili Bite clothing is also on board, guys. Chili Bite is giving us clothes. They already gave me a t-shirt that I'm gonna wear in our next recording. I think also Venom Arts is also on board. They promised us will give us some bucket hats, nice things there. We'll also appreciate that particular help from Venom Arts. We also want to thank Tongo Arts. Tongo Arts is here behind the scenes, doing the production, doing their thing. It's part of the show. We also want to thank Tongo Arts as well. Machabeng Media Production is here as well. We also want to thank them for their contribution to the show. Those are the sponsors here that are here today. We are missing one sponsor, Lepanakisi Craft, which was supposed to be here today, but I think he had issues of network and couldn't get hold of Lepanakisi. But he's one of us as well here. So those are the people that are doing the magic behind this, this show, and those are the sponsors. We want to get more sponsors, guys. If you are out there, you are running a business successfully, you were once part of the center, you are still part of the center, please, man, share with us. If it's food, we appreciate the food in the morning while we are setting up and working. If it's beverages, we appreciate those beverages. Anything. If it's money, it's more than welcome. We also need to get paid, for what we are doing here. That is basically what we are chasing, to make the money. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in.